Who is it? It's an upset. In the basement with Next Step and K. I am the co-host of the podcast, In the Basement podcast of K. Clippers fan, NCAA bracket tournament enthusiast, Clippers fan, Maryland Terrapins fan, and also the Jets fans. Welcome to another episode. This is happy Friday, by the way. Shout out to all my Muslim brothers and sisters out there. Ramadan Mubarak. Hopefully you guys are having a blessed Ramadan out there. Be good. Be blessed. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I really didn't expect that. And by what I'm saying is that, you know what I mean. We'll get into it. This is going to be a quick recap of the NCAA Tournament Day 1. Definitely wasn't without its share of upsets. Once again, I am Casey from In the Basement with Next Step and K. The second half, shout out to my co-host Larry. He's out working, doing his thing. Hopefully, shout out to his family and everybody. They're doing okay. Shout out to all the other people who actually tune into our broadcast. Not in the basement, but that's us. SP Talk Sports, Get Your Bars Up Media, Best of Seven Podcasts, Black Psychologist Podcast. Shout out to everybody. My brother and I, we were actually talking about the tournament last night. We had some great laughs. Shout out to the guys. Shout out to Pee Wee. Shout out to Red. Shout out to Javelle. Shout out new guy Nick from Penn Charter. Shout out to some of the guys here too. We were actually all talking about the tournament, and like I said, we definitely didn't expect that. And what I mean by that, we'll get into it. Just in case if you need to contact us, you can contact us at In the Basement. Our phone number, if you want to phone in and text and everything like that, you hit us up 302-844-8275 on Instagram at in_the_basement_podcast. On YouTube, we're In the Basement Podcast. And on Facebook, I'll say it again because it sounds so good. You got to say it twice. In the Basement Podcast on Facebook. And let's get into it. Let's get into the tournament. So first of all, tell me what your thoughts were on the tournament so far. Are you really enjoying the tournament? Is it what it's cracked up to be? You know, my lady and I, we were talking about the tournament yesterday, and she had some ideas about the tournament. And you know, the concept was correct. I mean, I totally get where she's coming from, but you know, a 1 versus a 16 or 2 versus a 15 or a 3 versus a 14 that just adds more drama and is better because some of these teams haven't seen these teams before. So, you know, it's kind of hard to game plan for a team that you've never seen. That's why Temple back in the day were so good at knocking off first round opponents because no one can really pretty much prepare for that matchup zone that John Chaney prepared. Rest in peace to John Chaney. Shout out to Temple University. So yeah, let's get into it. The first game we got number 6 BYU and number 11 Duquesne. Duquesne with the win, 71-67. For Duquesne, Dede Grant had 19 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal. For BYU, Jax Robson off the bench, 25 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist. Definitely a good game. Real quick, good game for Duquesne. A lot of people actually had BYU advancing to the next round because they were number 6 seed, but these number 6 and 11s are tricky. Just a little bit tournament tips. 6 and 11s usually go for the 11. Even when you're also 8 and 9 matchups are pretty hard. 7 and 10 matchups are also pretty hard too. So we'll get more into that later. Moving on. Number 16 seed Wagner, who won the first 4 a couple of days ago, played against North Carolina. North Carolina actually won by a little bit, 90-62. RJ Davis had 22 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal for North Carolina. Number 15 seed South Dakota State and Iowa State played. Iowa State took care of business, 82-65. For San Diego State, Zeke Mayo had 19 points, and for Iowa State, Tamim Lipsey had 17 points and 7 assists. Shout out to Iowa State. Iowa State is really putting their business out there. They're actually making a statement like they should have been a number 1 seed. So you better watch out for them. They're coming through. Moving on. Long Beach State and Arizona locked up yesterday. Number 15 seed Long Beach State and number 2 seed Arizona. Arizona with the win, 85-65 by 20. For LBC, for Long Beach State, not Long Beach, LBC. Ebabukar Terori, great game. 14 points, 15 rebounds, 4 assists, left it out on the floor. And for Arizona, Keelan Boswell for Arizona had 20 points and 8 assists. Shout out. St. Peter's. We are moving on to St. Peter's. St. Peter's number 15 seed. We all know what that means. 15 seed and the number 2 seed will match up, which is St. Peter's in Tennessee. If you're not familiar with St. Peter's, you should be, because a couple years ago, St. Peter's actually made that magical run to the Elite Eight on in the East region, if I remember correctly, because I believe they were in the Wells Fargo Center that year. Shout out to Shaheen Holloway, who actually was coaching them, and now Shaheen Holloway has moved up to Seton Hall, who actually got the win over St. Joe's in the NIT on a Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. Definitely great game. St. Peter's this year didn't have the magic. Tennessee actually came in there and took care of business, because I think they should also got a number 1 seed as well over Purdue. Tennessee with the win, 83-49. For St. Peter's, Latrell Reed had 17 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. And for Tennessee, Dalton Knight had 23 points, 8 rebounds, and 1 assist. Definitely, I would say the game was over before it's. I'm not gonna say the game was over before it started. I won't say that, but the game was over probably much by the second. Probably about the 17-minute mark in the second half. That's when pretty much Tennessee really started to pull away. It's kind of like, the cream rises to the top. You kind of see the talent level and the talent gap, between these teams. Not to say anything about the lower seeds, because the lower seeds, can actually do something. We'll find out, as I go down these recaps. Also, yesterday afternoon, I got a chance to see Akron, number 14 seed Akron, and Creighton play. Creighton with the win, 77-60. Shout out to Creighton. Creighton's always been a dangerous team in the region that you don't want to count out, even though they're a number 3 seed. But the years before, they were like a number 7 seed. Another couple years before, they were like a number 5 seed or a 4 seed, and they were very convincing. And they were actually, they were doing work. They were doing work out there. Shout out to Creighton's Brian Kalbrenner with 28 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist. Freeman for Akron had 21 points, 8 rebounds. Definitely a great game. Nothing to hang your heads over. Basically, it's a simple fact that Creighton is they're a big, long team. Their front line is like, average wingspan is almost like, 7 feet almost, so you're going to have trouble getting your shots altered. But like I said, Freeman did a great job down there. So definitely go back to campus. Don't hang your head. You had a great year. You're coming back next year. One thing I've also noticed about this tournament doesn't have a whole lot of upperclassmen. This tournament has a whole lot of sophomores, juniors, freshmen. So most of these kids are coming back. So definitely, get used to seeing them. You definitely see their faces again. Moving on. Morehead State, Illinois. Number 14 seed Morehead State played against number 3 seed Illinois. Illinois with the win, 85-69. For Morehead State, Jordan Lathan. I believe he's a sophomore. He's tough. He's tough. I was watching him. He's tough. Jordan Lathan, 23.7 rebounds, 4 assists. For Illinois, Terrence Shannon Jr. had 26 points, 2 rebounds, and 4 assists. So Illinois moves on. I believe they move on to play Dayton. Duquesne. Okay. Let's take some time. Let's take some time and let's process this one. Number 14, Oakland. Number 3, Kentucky. Now, when you were looking this on your bracket, please tell the God honest truth. Did you really think that Oakland was going to beat Kentucky yesterday? I didn't think. I actually had Kentucky going to the Elite Eight this year, to be totally honest with you. Shout out to my man Reggie. We were actually talking about this off stage, and from what from Russ told me, we were talking about it as well. Like, what use is it for Kentucky? Because when I was watching the game at the end, Like there was no type of emotion at the end. With Kentucky, they were just like, oh well, screw it. It's a loss. Let's just go back home. So I think that I don't know. Is it time for Coach Cal to leave Kentucky? I mean, because I remember my brother and I, we were talking off stage. Shout out to the Black Psychologist podcast. We were talking about that off stage yesterday. When the upset was brewing, and yeah, I mean, Tony Bennett, Coach Cal. Is it time for them to move on to another school? Maybe take a couple years off, maybe find themselves, and then come back into college basketball. We got to know. Um, what's going on with that, because Tony Bennett, to his credit, got Virginia a national championship, but the years after that, counting the COVID year, there really hasn't been a whole lot of progress. A couple first round exits, a couple times they didn't even qualify for the tournament, not even the NIT. So what's going on with that? Also with Coach Calipari, and no disrespect to Coach Cal, because I remember Coach Cal, when he built that program at UMass, and he built it to prominence, national prominence, as a matter of fact, pushed it to the Final Four in 1996. When they had that great team of like Edgar Padilla, Padilla Travieso. I'm sorry, Edgar Padilla, Carmelo Travieso, excuse me, Dana Dingle, Dante Bright, and Marcus Camby. And they pushed them all the way to the Final Four. They refused to lose team. I think they were like 34-2 or something like that. Anyway, also definitely want to give a shout out to Oakland's Jack Golke, who's going to be a household name now, and also he's in the record books because he hit 10 threes in a tournament game. I believe the record is 11 by the great Jeff Fryer, who played for that 1990 LMU team. If you know, you know. Shout out to Bo Kimball, Jeff Fryer, Freebird. I forgot my man's name, Corey. It wasn't Corey Williams. It was Corey something. I forgot what his name was. But yeah, definitely shout out to them. Definitely rest in peace to the great Hank Gathers. And I definitely remember, just a sidebar. I just remember watching that game. I didn't understand it back then, but I remember what happened. And then as I got older, they showed the documentary on ESPN 30 for 30, the Guru of Go with, Paul Westhead, and he showed what, like, behind the scenes, what happened in that tournament with Bo getting in foul trouble. Then he shot the free throw left-handed and then set the whole tone for the rest of the tournament. I mean, they went through, I think, San Diego State, Michigan. I think they went all the way to the Elite Eight, if I remember correctly, and they lost to UNLV in 1990. And then that's, to the eventual champions, UNLV Running Rebels. Shout out to them. But definitely, if you get a chance, between the tournament, you're not doing anything, definitely try to watch that documentary, The Gurus Will Go, ESPN 30 for 30, if you have ESPN Plus, or if you have that type, if you have like a Fire Stick or whatever the case may be. Definitely a great game by Oakland. Oakland pretty much ran their sets. Like I said before, anything can happen in the tournament, especially when you're like a number 14 seed or a little bit higher. 16 seeds and ones, usually they don't usually win over the one seed. Every now and then they will. They did last year with Purdue, but yeah, I really didn't expect this upset to happen like this quickly for Kentucky. I'm not sure what they're going to do next year in regards to some of the players. I'm not sure if Wags is going to stay. I know Reeves is probably going to leave. I'm sure DJ Wagner is going to leave. I'm sure Shepard, he might stay. He might leave. Justin Edwards, I'm not sure if he's going to leave. If I were them, I would stay an extra year. I would stay an extra year and just do like Virginia did, stay an extra year just to prove to everybody that we are a team. We can win championships. That's what we do. But yeah, definitely congratulations to Oakland. They played a great game. They ran their sets. Total confidence in Jack Golke, who had 32 points. Shout out to Antonio Reeves. He had 27. He kept them in the game. 27 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. But I mean, definitely shout out to Jack Golke. Jack Golke had like so much confidence. The team has so much confidence in him. Shout out to the Oakland's front line too, because they were down there and they were working down there, despite the size differential. Who they play next? Let me see. Checking on that for Oakland. Oakland, actually, as a matter of fact, Oakland plays North Carolina State, as a matter of fact. So I'm pretty curious to see what they're going to do. Against that big front line of North Carolina State. I think that North Carolina State got the work cut out for them. They pretty much got the game plan. They know what the game plan is, but I see North Carolina State advancing over Oakland. See, and this is what happens in brackets. Like once those big time teams fall in the first round, it just makes it easier for some of the other, not so good teams, but the better teams to actually advance in the tournament. It's the beauty of the bracket, baby. It's the beauty of the bracket. Moving on, but shout out to Oakland. Another good game. Another good game I didn't get a chance to see, but I did watch the highlights. Number 13, Samford, and number 4 seed Kansas, even though Kansas is not one of their leading scorers. But for Samford, Acker had 23 points and 8 rebounds. Samford lost by, I believe, 4, as a matter of fact, 93 to 89. Kansas, Hunter Dickinson had a great game, 19 points, 20 rebounds, 5 assists. Down there working pretty much. He pretty much put them on her back and, saved them from quite a few mishaps down there on the boards, stuff like that. But just by just grabbing the boards, hustling, getting on the floor, getting those 50-50 balls and stuff like that. So actually, Kansas moves on. Number 12, McNeese State, a.k.a., if you're not familiar with McNeese State, just think of this name. I got 2 words for you, Joe Dumars. McNeese State and Gonzaga played last night. Gonzaga with the win, 86-65. For McNeese State, Christian Schumann had 19 points, 11 rebounds, and 1 steal. For the Zags, Anton Watson had 13 points, 13 rebounds, and 9 assists, flirting with the triple-double. Great game. Great game, but Gonzaga pulled off in around I'm going to say around like the 9-minute mark from what I saw, like the shots that were going up. A lot of offensive rebounds, putbacks, things of that sort. Actually, got Gonzaga over the hump. Another great game that happened last night. A lot of people. Shout out to Oregon's Jermaine Cousinard, dropped 40 points on South Carolina. A lot of people say this is a revenge game because he transferred from South Carolina to Oregon for whatever reason. Definitely a great game. Oregon, number 11 seed Oregon, and number 6 Carolina. Really, to be honest with you, I think those seedings should have been switched. I think Oregon should have been a number 6, and South Carolina should have been a number 11. Maybe they would have turned out different. Jermaine Cousinard with 40 points, like I said before, putting up Steph Curry type numbers. And for South Carolina's Michi Johnson had 24 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. South Carolina goes home. Oregon moves on. Moving on, North Carolina State, number 11 seed, that played literally right after the Oakland, Kentucky game. NC State and Texas Tech played, and NC State with the victory, 80-67. NC State's Muhammad Diarra had 17 points, 12 rebounds, 1 assist. For Texas Tech, Williams had 10 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. This was actually a pretty good game. Basically, it was pretty much a free throw shooting contest at the end. A couple missed threes by Texas Tech, ones they should have made. Actually, the game would have been much, much closer. I think, I'll be honest with you, if Texas Tech would have made the threes and missed the free throws, I think it would probably have been about, I'm going to say like 74, probably like 74 to 80, but at the end of the day, it was pretty much a free throw shooting contest to put it out of reach. A little bit more time, they probably would have been okay. Moving on to number 10 seed Nevada and number 7 Dayton. Definitely a great game. This is actually one of my favorite games that I watched over the afternoon. I actually watched the highlights and I watched it again on my laptop. Number 10 Nevada was up. They were up. Way up, as a matter of fact. They were up. They were a little bit overconfident, I'm going to say, because, they hit a couple threes and they were kind of like chomping at the bit. They were like going around wolfing at Dayton, before one of the timeouts, and then Dayton came back. I think Dayton went on like a 20-3 run in the last like 5 minutes. And Dayton won by 3. Hit a couple threes, another still here. They started trapping and pressing, another still here, 50-50 ball. three pointer, one by three, one at the free throw line. For Nevada, Keenan Blackshear had 15 points, 2 rebounds, 8 assists. For Dayton, Darren Holmes, the hero, 18 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, and also that one steal too at the end. Moving on to Colorado State and Texas. Um, for Colorado State, the ride is over. The ride is over for Colorado State. They won the first four a couple days ago. Um, Colorado State and Texas, number 10, number 7. And for Colorado State's Joel Scott, the senior, had 10 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. And for Texas, Weaver had 11 points. Close game, I would say. Close game in the first half. And then from there, it was pretty much like a knockdown, drag 'em out game. It was pretty much a grind. Um, Texas used that front line against Joel Scott to actually slow him to way under his average, and they took that and they rode that over to the end of the horn, 56-44. Moving on, Drake and Washington State, another good game, another close game. A couple mishaps. Number 10 Drake against number 7 Washington State, which is another one here. I didn't even know how Washington State ended up in the tournament. I'm totally honest with you. I haven't been paying attention to Washington State. Um, in the Pac-12, was pretty much all about Oregon, Arizona, um, pretty much in the Pac-12. Then also with the women, with USC and Stanford. But Washington State pulled it out. 66-61. Um, Drake Darnell Brody had 13 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 assists. And Washington State's Isaac Jones had 20 points, 11 rebounds, and 3 assists. And that's pretty much for the first day. Teams that will be moving on. Duquesne will be playing Illinois tomorrow, and Washington State and Iowa State will lock up tomorrow as well in the East region. In the West region, we have North Carolina and Michigan State. These people are too familiar with each other. No strangers here. No love lost. Also in the West region tomorrow, Dayton and Arizona is going to play. I believe. Why does this matchup sound so familiar? Because I believe Dayton and Arizona. I believe they played a couple years ago. I think they played against each other during the Obi Toppin era, if I'm not mistaken. I think they won. I think Obi Toppin and them won, and they made that magical run. In the South region tomorrow, NC State and Oakland is going to play. Actually, the whole nation is going to be paying attention to Oakland now that they beat Kentucky. The magic of Jack Golke. He's probably going to get like a feature and everything. He said during his post game interview, he said that we're not Cinderellas, but yeah, maybe they're not. Maybe they're just upset specials. But Cinderellas, I think you are. Because you weren't supposed to be there anyway. No disrespect to Oakland and it was a tournament, but you weren't supposed to be there according to most tournament polls and most NCAA fans and everything like that. But like I said, congratulations. I'm not a hater. I'm not hating. I want to see what you guys can do. I definitely want to see what NC State is going to do the game plan against you, but for some reason I got NC State advancing over Oakland. I believe the party's over. You're going to get the dope hotel stay. You're going to get the greatest food, but it's going to be over by Sunday night, and you go home Monday morning. So, and also in the Midwest region on Saturday, Gonzaga and Kansas are going to play. I actually have, for some reason, I actually have Gonzaga winning this game for some odd reason. Don't ask me why. Also, that Saturday, Oregon and Creighton will meet up. I have Creighton winning this because Creighton's front line is way better, even though the guard play for Oregon is better than Creighton's. But, Creighton's defense will make up for it. Also, on Saturday in the second round, Texas and Tennessee is going to play the two T's. This is a good one. This is a 7-2 matchup. But with Texas a little bit slow on their offensive defense, they're a little bit more deliberate. And I think Tennessee's going to take advantage of that with Knight, and they're going to shoot their way out of that. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Just a quick recap of what's going on in the tournament. I will have the other information probably by Sunday or Monday with the other tournament games and the advancing. But, yeah, but I really didn't expect Kentucky to lose this early. Maybe the Elite Eight, maybe the Sweet 16 even at least, but not in the first round. So for all you UK fans out there, you guys got some thinking to do. Maybe you guys can share a beignet or something like that on your way back. On your way back to Kentucky from the airport. Beignets make everything better. So, but yep, this is KC with the recap. Signing off. If I don't hear from you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy the tournament, and I'll see you guys on Saturday or Sunday.